Welcome back to Stacked, where today we're going to talk about how you move from inbox overload to a system that can actually auto route for you, and we're going to call it an escalation tree. So most inboxes could almost be classified as crime scenes, right? You might have DMs that you never opened or that you marked as unread or keep marking as unread so you don't forget about them, but really you're just procrastinating them. Maybe you have emails that you've flagged for later with the best of intentions, but then looking back when you audit once a month, you're like, oh crap, never got back to it. You might have voicemails that you never checked or you never followed up on, or even customer chats that could maybe make your stomach turn because you know someone is still waiting and you haven't gotten back to them yet. Now, some of that might be a little bit of laziness that you need to work on, but more than likely, it's probably just overload. You are overloaded with the incoming messages and it is too much for what you are trying to handle. And it could be affecting your business negatively. So you don't really need to answer any faster. And I know that might sound counterintuitive, but what you really need is to route smarter. And that's what we call an escalation tree. It's not another assistant. It's not a fancy new inbox or a brand spanking new system that you have to learn. It's a system that auto triages your messages so that the right people get the right replies at the right time. And internally, the right team gets notified of what's coming in. And this is going to stop ghosting, reduce stress, and reduce the number of missed sales, missed leads, or mishandled conversations. So let's break down what an escalation tree actually is. It is a series of routes that you build inside Dallowry Flow using automation that work something kind of like this, right? Step one is always going to be your trigger point. So for instance, an email comes in or a web chat is started, or maybe it's a DM is replied to, or a call coming in is missed. You decide what step one, what is the contact method that this person is starting, and how do I then want it to be handled? So step two is you got to check for keywords, behaviors, or already tagged systems inside of Dallowry Flow. So is the lead already tagged as realtor? Is the lead already tagged as client? Or are they using keywords about a specific product you just launched? Or is the behavior positive or negative? So they might say something like urgent in the message, or they might be asking to reschedule, or they might be clicking on a link of a product that you just launched. So next we're going to ask for context. First, how is it coming in? Second, why is it coming in? And then three, how are we going to handle it? Step three is the trigger of the next move. So you might do something like an auto reply. So for instance, when we have a blog that is posted, if somebody on Instagram wants the blog, we can't have a clickable link in Instagram. So instead, every single one of our posts say comment blog for the link. And when somebody comments blog, it automatically DMs them the link to the blog, which means we no longer have to handle that. It might tag the person, right? So maybe you tag the lead as replied because then you can filter engaged leads versus non-engaged leads, and you might market to those differently. Maybe you notify a human because you just hired your first sales teams, but you still want to be able to manage and track the flow of conversations. And so if a message comes in and it's not handled for 10 minutes, maybe you want a notification. Maybe it's going to escalate to a real-time call, and it's going to literally connect you immediately to the person so you don't lose that lead. It might also just log a weekly check-in as a task. Basically, whatever you need it to do for your world and whatever you need it to handle, you just schedule it. And the best thing is it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's a decision tree that flexes as your inbox fills up, and it can be adjusted at any time. You can also just add additional trees for further, micro handling or just further context. So here's how we use it at Dallowry. If someone replies to a proposal email that doesn't book, they get bumped to a need help deciding sequence. And if someone asks a technical question, first, our conversation AI is going to see if it can help. And if it doesn't have the answer, it's going to do one of two things. First, it's going to schedule a task for us to add the knowledge into its knowledge base. And two, it's going to route the conversation to a human to help. Maybe it's a new lead fills out a form and they don't answer the follow-up question that we ask. Then it's going to automatically send them a friendly just checking in text the next time it's in an appropriate business hours window. And if the incoming message is spam, it's going to automatically mark it as read, so we're not even wasting our time doing that. And what that means is we're no longer drowning in inboxes anymore because the system is handling what's urgent and it shelves what's not, and it flags it in an appropriate way for us to find the information later. What's also great is we have ours automatically adding notes to the customer's account. So now we don't have to scroll through endless amounts of conversation feed. We can go to the notes and even search the notes for keywords to know what the context is of the future and past handlings of the lead. So what you'll notice when you build something like this is people actually start trusting you more and the leads start moving through your system faster. And that's because you're responding when it matters. They feel seen because you're responding how they need you to, and because you're actually following up. And this is what separates messy businesses from ones that scale. It's not a better inbox habit. It's a better inbox architecture. And you only have to build it once. You map out your typical questions, you match them with your best responses, and we track an ideal world and a least ideal world. And then Dallowry Flow just runs it without routing rules, with AI, and with failbacks if no one replies. So if you're stuck in your inbox all day, but people are still feeling ignored, then it might be time to build an escalation tree. So now that you know all of this, just realize that your inbox chaos is now a choice. It is optional. You are choosing it if you stay there. And if you want help building your escalation tree, just reach out to us at info@dallowry.com. This is Stacked, where we automate, elevate, and repeat.